Put your motherfucking seatbelt on, because you're going top speed from where you are to where you want to be, to accomplishing your goals. We're going to take you down the fucking fast lane, and it's going to be a bumpy road. But I promise you, if you follow the game plan I'm going to lay out in this video, you will accomplish your goals in 2024. Promise you. So make sure you watch this video to the end. Make sure you take notes in this video. This is not a fucking video you watch once and think you got it. You're going to have to keep coming back to this shit because you're going to fuck up the way you've been fucking up your whole life. That's why you ended up here, how to accomplish goals, because you ain't been doing it. So don't think you can just watch a video once and you got to shit master. You're going to have to watch this shit more than once, and you better take notes. You may be thinking, hey, why should I listen to this guy in a fucking tiny tank top on YouTube? Well, over the last few years, I've built several multi-8-figure businesses. I built several social media platforms up to over 1 million followers. And I consistently flex on the haters and stunt on the hoes. I've been doing that on a consistent basis over the last decade. I'm really good at accomplishing goals. If that weren't enough, I also do a lot of coaching for other people, and I've helped literally thousands of other people accomplish their goals. And I promise you, if you follow the steps in this video, you will accomplish more this year than maybe you have in the last 5 or 10 years. So let's get into it. This is going to be a goal-setting masterclass for 2024. If we're going to talk about accomplishing your 2024 goals, what should your goals be? Well, I've talked about this in other videos. Don't fucking cry about it. Just watch this video and pay attention before. Listen, motherfucker, if you would have got it the first time, you wouldn't be watching videos on how to accomplish your goals. All right, shut the fuck up and listen. There's 4 quadrants of life. Everything falls into these 4 quadrants. You have your health, you have money, cash money, then you have, romantic relationships. Looks like a B. We have romantic relationships, then you have friends and family. Those are like your other relationships, friends and family. The reason friends and family are separate than romantic relationships is because, you can divorce a wife, but your mom is probably your mom forever unless she does something super egregious, like fuck with your money. And sometimes friends are like family. If you got real close friends, some people are closer with some of their friends than their family, right? Especially if you got shitty families, all right? Here's the thing. A lot of people will tell you that you should have maybe 1 health goal, 1 money goal, 1 relationship goal, and 1 family goal or some shit. Yeah, maybe. But the truth is, most of you motherfuckers have been failing all your life. And so if you've been fucking racking up L's for the last decade or two, fuck makes you think you're going to be able to accomplish 4 big goals this year? Nah, man. What we want to do is we want to pick 1 main goal. Let me show you what this looks like. This is going to be your number 1 goal, your main goal. All right. Now, what should your main goal be? I want you to think about this. What should your main goal be? Remember, there are 4 quadrants of life. Should it be a relationship goal? Should that be the main thing you focus on for the year? No. Should it be your family? Should that be the one thing you focus on for the year? No. Let me tell you why. You can live without friends and family. Life will suck without it, but you can remain alive. You cannot remain alive without health and money. That's just the way it's set up. You cannot remain alive. But the beauty of it is, if your main goal is a financial goal, then it can actually improve your health. What do you mean money can improve your health? Well, Magic Johnson would have died of HIV like everyone else in the 90s if he wasn't a multimillionaire, right? You can get the best trainers. You can join the best gyms. You can get the best medical care. When my girl gets sick, the nurse comes here, man. We not going to the motherfucking hospital, waiting in an emergency room like that. We just they come to us. Like, it's different. Relationship goals, man, yeah, man, listen. I don't think I have to go into that, how having money is better for your relationships. Most divorces are caused by financial reasons. And women initiate 80% of divorces. So it stands to reason, if we look at both those metrics, that bitches be leaving broke boys. That stands to reason. And statistically, there are statistics to show that more money you have, the higher likelihood that you stay married longer. if you give a fuck about that, right? You know, and then friends and family. Well, listen, man, you want to do something for your family, you want to do something for your friends, you know, you need money for that, you know, or something, God forbid, something happens to your family, right? They're probably gonna need some bread, right? My cousin, he died in a car accident last year, and, you know, he had kids and stuff. He didn't have life insurance or a will or nothing like that. And, you know, I had some bread, so I was able to step in and help out with some of the stuff the children needs. I paid for the funerals, like 20 grand. Like, imagine you need 20 grand like 3 days from now. You got it? Oh man, you ain't got it, man. I thought family was the most important thing, man. You can't even take care of your dead family. And then, you know, it's just like money helps all of these things, right? Money helps every quadrant. So I think you should focus. Your main goal should be a financial goal. Now, you can have other goals, but we're not going to focus on them too hard. So what I mean by that is the other goals, there are support goals. So your support goals, there's also two types of support goals, right? So you can have defensive support goals and offensive support goals. I'm going to get into what those are. Right? Defensive support goals and offensive support goals. So before I get into it, so what is a support goal? A support goal is a goal that you accomplish that will help you accomplish the main goals. And we have defense and offense, right? Now, let me explain. So a defensive support goal is you got to think about what are the things that could stop you from accomplishing the main goal, all right? So we can look here, right? If your health starts to deteriorate, you get crazy sick or some really bad happens to you, it's going to be way more difficult to accomplish your goal, right? So you can have a defensive health goal. You can have something like get in shape, lose fat, you know, or whatever the case may be, right? And an offensive support goal is things that you need to accomplish that support the main goal, right? So that can be something like, well, it depends on what your main goal is. You know what I'm saying? If your main goal is to start e-com business, right? Well, now you got to learn Facebook ads. So maybe that's a support goal, learning how to run a Facebook and Google ads, right? Things like that, right? They help you accomplish the main goal. I hope that makes sense to you, right? And then you want to have result goals. These are things that will happen as a result of you accomplishing the main goal. Before I get into it, there's two types of result goals, right? There's selfish goals and altruistic goals, right? Selfish goals, these are things you want for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want the fucking Richard Mille. Maybe you want, you know, a new car, you know, just things that you want for yourself. Altruistic goals are things you want to do for other people. So these are my things you want to do for other people or the environment, or maybe you want to save the whales or some shit. I don't know, whatever. Or maybe even your family. All right, let's say you want to do some shit for your family, buy your mom a house, move your family out the fucking ghetto. These are things that you will get as a result of accomplishing, or these are things you can get as a result of accomplishing the main goal. And this is why the main goal should be a financial goal. Right. Hope this is making sense, right? Now, the other quadrants fall into like the support goals or the result goals, but the main goal should be a fucking financial goal, right? So if you want to do something with your friends and family, hey man, maybe your friends and family take your family on vacation, do something for your mom. Maybe that's an altruistic result goal. You get what I'm saying? Or relationship, man. Maybe that's a selfish goal. Like you want to fucking get some money so you can finally stop fucking 5s, 4s and shit. You know what I'm saying? Actually get like a hot chick, right? You know, you probably need some bread to do that because the fucking bad chicks ain't even where you are. Where they at? Bitches ain't at the Toyota dealership, man. You know what I'm saying? These bitches ain't at the check cashing place. Bad bitches ain't at fucking TJ Maxx with your ass, right? You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got access to these motherfuckers, right? So maybe like that's a selfish goal for you, right? Or if you got a girlfriend, it might be a defensive goal, right? You got to make sure that relationship, make sure this bitch ain't stressing you out. You know what I'm saying? So you might have to do shit like take her out a certain amount of time or spend a certain amount of time. Then it stress you out and it takes you away from getting this money, man, because you got this whole tripping this shit all the time, right? There's all types of shit. It just depends on you and what your goal is and where it finds. But all 4 of these quadrants can fit somewhere in here, but the main thing got to be the main thing. Hope this is making sense. All right. Now, once you got that mapped out, right? What your main goal is, the defensive support goals, the things you need to do to make sure that you don't get knocked off track. And then you have the result goals, the selfish ones, shit you want to buy, shit you want to do for yourself. And the altruistic goals, things you want to do for the family, the world, the environment, the fucking whales, seals, dolphins, whatever, man, who cares? Once you got that, now you need to set a motherfucking game plan. You need to plan this shit. Listen, you need a game plan if you want to be covered in name brand, all right? So you got to plan this shit. Here's the thing. Most people do the plan wrong. They think, what do I need to do to accomplish this goal? The problem is that's not enough. You need to be thinking, what do I need to do that if I did it, it would be impossible for me to fail? What actions do I take? What amount of action do I need to take to make failure impossible? That's a big difference. I first kind of learned this way of thinking when I was, really getting good at guitar at one point in my life. I was getting paid to play guitar for this singer for some show she had. And I was going over the material with my guitar teacher at the time. And I started to get it. He said, all right, Brandon, you got it. You were able to play it right now. But as of now, you've only practiced enough to be able to play it right. Professionals practice until they can't play it wrong. He said, amateurs practice until they can play it right. Professionals practice until they can't play it wrong. And that's totally different. And I did that, killed the show, got the money. It was dope. But I took that into all my other goals, right? I don't think, what do I need to do to accomplish this goal? I think, what do I need to do that would make failure impossible? What amount of action and effort do I need to put in that would make it impossible for me to fail? That's the kind of plan you need to make. And when you start making that kind of plan, you quickly start to realize that you can't have 37 fucking goals, right? You probably can only have one if you're going to approach it like that, right? And you need to approach it like that because what most people do is they put in just enough effort to fail, right? Because you don't get what you want, you get what you have to have. It can't be a good idea. It can't be something you kind of want. It has to be a fucking must. If it's a must, you'll get it. If it's something you just kind of want, you probably won't get it, right? Now, I know some loser is thinking, man, so it doesn't matter how much I want, it doesn't matter how much it's a must for me to walk through walls, I can't do it. And I'm like, yeah, fucking nerd. And we're talking about, reality, stop making shit up. Like, we're talking about reality, dumbass. If it's something that's within the laws of physics, and if you're dead serious about it, you have to have it, I promise you can get it. But most people have never put that kind of effort into anything. And that's why most motherfuckers are failures, right? The average American is 17 pounds overweight. The average American has less than $1,000 in their bank account. This is according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm not making this shit up. That's because it's not a must. It's like a nice to have. It'd be cool, right? They kind of want it. So because they only kind of want it, they put some effort, but just enough to fail. Because if you don't put any effort, you can't fail because you didn't try. But if you put a little bit of effort, if you pussyfoot, dip your toe into it, it's just enough for you to fail. But what if you put in so much effort that it would be unreasonable for you to fail at that? This is the kind of plan we need to make. So when you're thinking about that, when you're writing this plan, this is how you do it. First, you're coming out with that attitude. All right, what do I have to do to make failure impossible? There's going to be certain kind of tasks. See, a plan is just a collection of tasks and deadlines. That's all a plan is, tasks and deadlines. So we're going to write down every step, every task that we can think of. Now, you're going to have two types of tasks. You're going to have one-time tasks, and you're going to have recurring tasks. All right. So a one-time task example would be like, set up LLC. I don't know, drop shipping. You're selling fucking Chinese bullshit to old people. All right. Yeah. Well, let's say, man, you gotta manage ads, manage your ad account. Right. I'm just making shit up. Right. So whatever. These are just examples. Right. But just so you know, these would be, you do this once, and you're gonna have a lot of these though. You're gonna have a lot of these. Now here's the thing. The one-time task, them shits ain't a big deal, right? It's these that are gonna be a big deal. The recurring tasks. That's where people fall off, because anybody can do something fucking once. But it's like having to do something over and over again over a long period of time. Think about your fitness goal, right? If this was a fitness goal, let's just say we had a fitness goal, right? The one-time task would be something like join gym. But the recurring task would be something like track macros, right? You can see that the one-time task is the easy shit, right? Anybody can fucking join gym. You're going to see this at the beginning of the year, everybody going to join gym, and they're still going to end up being fat. So you're gonna list out all your one-time tasks and all your recurring tasks. The ones you know. There's some shit that you don't know, right? And that's okay. Martin Luther King said, you don't need to see the entire staircase. You just need to see the first step. And then you just keep taking steps. And it's kind of like accomplishing a big goal. You don't know everything that you need to do. And that's okay. You want to write down everything you know. And it's kind of like driving in the fog. You ever driven in the fog? You don't have to see the whole road. You just have to see a few feet ahead of you, right? And you just keep moving in that direction. And eventually you'll get there. Same thing with a big goal. You write down what you do know. You plan that out. And then here's where it gets more sophisticated. We need deadlines on all the one-time tasks. And then we got to schedule all the recurring tasks. Let me show you what I mean. So we're going to write out, after you've written out your plan, we're going to put it all in the software I like to use called Trello. So this is what it looks like. When you sign in Trello, you have this blank board. Yours may or may not have guns and bullets on it. And you can put whatever background you want. This is the one I picked, but it was just what they had available. Obviously, I would have picked hollow tips instead of Full Metal Jacket, but you do what you can with what you got. All right. So what I do is I like to set up a board for my goal, right? And it looks like this, like a to-do list on steroids, or TRT like me. You have to test that your to-do list, right? Then you want to put in doing, like stuff that's actually in progress, right? Then you want to set up another one that's done, all right? Now, this is a simple version of it. We can get more sophisticated if we want to, because sometimes I'll put in like the month, I'll put in each month. You could, if you wanted to get more sophisticated, but you don't have to, all right? You could just do this. And what we want to do is we want to put in all the one-time tasks in here so we know what's up with them, all right? So let's say it's a business, right? All right, so open LLC, that's to do. Then we put another one, get EIN number, cool. Then, set up biz bank, and there'll be a bunch of them, right? All right. Now, when you go in here, now we got to put deadlines on it, and we do it here. So one thing I like to do, this is why I like Trello, is I'll go in here and then I'll pick the date, right? And I'll pick the due date. And let's say, next year goal, right, man, boom. So we want to do that shit. We want to have the business bank account, man. Let's say I want to have that shit set up I want to have it set up by the 12th. Let me give myself some time, right? Boom, by the 12th. All right. Now I got a deadline in here, right? Open LLC, you could do that shit fucking LegalZoom or something. It doesn't fucking matter. Maybe I want to start that. Man, I do that on the 1st, boom. January, this is a holiday. January 1st is a holiday. You got to get the EIN from the government. So we're going to put that on here. And you can get more sophisticated with this stuff, right? You can add you can add checklists, you can add labels, you can do all types of stuff. I'm just keeping this super simple for your ass, right? All right. Then we got it in here. Now, then you want to do that for all your one-time tasks. Not only the one-time tasks you have now, but the ones that you think of, right? Because remember, you're going to learn more shit, and there's going to be more shit that you realize there's going to be stuff you need to do that you don't even know you need to do. And as those things come up, you want to put them in Trello, right? So let's say we start moving and we start putting in new shit. We find out some new shit. We got to put that in Trello. Some new shit, right? And you can't put it in here without a fucking date, right? And that new shit, damn, we just found out we got to have that by the fucking 19th. All right, cool. We got the new shit in there. So every time you come up with some new shit, you got to do it. And then when something is in progress, it's in doing, right? When something's in progress, and then you wait till you get it done. And then you just keep moving it over and you just keep putting stuff in there. And there's going to be a lot, right? But this is where you keep track and you have a visual representation of how close you are to accomplishing your goal. And you can make this as detailed as you want. This will be the simplest version, right? Having to do, doing, and done, right? That's the simplest version. A more complex version would look something like, mine. I have this week, right? I like to do next week. I like to do tomorrow. And then I put today. So I'll work out of this shit. So for me, I'll get into it. I'll show you why. So I have my to-do list. I have doing. So this is like stuff I'm doing now. I'll put it right here. Boom. And then I'll move the done all the way over here. And then if I think of something, every time something comes up I have to do, like if it's tomorrow, I'll put it in here. Like, so I keep this app on my phone too and on my iPad. right? So I gotta put it in tomorrow. Boom. Next week, this would be here this week, and then I also like to have this month, next month, right? So it's like if I think of something or I hear something, I put it in here so I don't forget. And it's super important to have your shit organized in some fashion, right? You can do it the simple way I showed you, or you can get all crazy with it like me, right? Because let's say I move this shit over here and it's tomorrow. I'm supposed to do this shit, or I'm supposed to do this shit today, right? But I can't for some reason, man. Some shit happens. There's a fucking hurricane in Florida again. You know, we have our fucking 5th hurricane of the year, and I can't do this shit that day. All right, then, man, I moved to here. Oh shit, it's Category 7 hurricane. It's gonna be here for a week. All right, I gotta move it the next week. Like shit like that is gonna happen. And we're gonna get into this before. You're gonna encounter obstacles that you have to overcome. Fucking natural disasters are gonna happen. I promise you. This is gonna be the first year with no natural disasters. You got shit fucked up, right? There's gonna be natural disasters. People you know are gonna fucking die. You know, shit is gonna happen. Fucking people are gonna fucking snake you. All types of wild shit's gonna happen. You might have to move shit around. And what this does is affords me flexibility. It's very important, right? I might move it the next week, but it's like, even if I don't get around to it today, because I moved it around and I kept it on the board and I'm keeping track, I don't lose it. It's not some shit that's gonna slip through the cracks. The only thing in my life that slips through the cracks is shit that I don't put on the Trello. You know what I'm saying? It's shit that I don't put on Trello, right? So you can have a fucking crazy one like me, especially I got big goals. So there's a lot of shit here, you know, and I just live out of this shit. Like I put so when I wake up, I have my goal shit here. But then if I still put everything I'm supposed to do today here too, right? You know what I'm saying? Fucking film, YouTube, right? I put my to-do list in here too, and it's just going with everything, you know? Let me erase that. Okay, all right, cool. But you don't have to go as crazy as me. This is psycho shit, right? You could just just keep it real simple, 3 columns. You can make it as complex as you want, yeah? Now, that's for your one-time task. Now what you're gonna do is we're gonna put everything in our calendar. All right. We're gonna put everything in our calendar. So first we put the one-time task in our calendar, right? So this is, in Trello, it was the due dates, right? But that doesn't mean shit unless you know when you're going to do them. There's a difference between a due date, when it's supposed to be done, and when you're going to do it. They may not be the same. They might even be the same day, right? So remember, we had to set up the LLC. The deadline was January 1st. So you go on Google Calendar, and you should be living out for Google Calendar if you're watching any other videos. Boom. January 1st. What time am I going to do that shit? All right. Maybe I'm going to do that shit at fucking noon. How long is it going to take? How long do I think it's going to take? Shouldn't take more than an hour. I'll set up LLC. Boom. It's in there. All right. What was the other one? This is just example, right? Get EIN. Remember, we had to do that on the 2nd because the government is closed on the 1st, right? Do it the same time, man. You know, boom. Get EIN number. All right, boom. We're going to do that at the same time. Let me move it up a little bit so it's the same time. All right, boop, fantastic. All right, then we got the other one. Set a business account. So the 12th, boom, we're going to go to Chase, man. We're going to do that shit at 1. All right, set up Google Bank account. All right, so now it's in the calendar. We're going to do that with all your one-time goals. But remember I said the recurring goals, the recurring tasks were the most important? Yeah, these are the most important things. Right? Now you got a list of these things you got to do every day. You know, what's really important is that we live out of the calendar, right? You need to start living out of your calendar. So you really want to put your whole life in here, but first we're going to put the recurring task. So the recurring task, you know, for business, you know, is, we'll do some like lead generation. Maybe you got to do whatever that means for your business, lead generation, right? Okay. When we going to do it? More options. We want to be doing lead gen starting at 9 a.m. Maybe we start the day off. Shit, man, we will make it impossible to fail, right? Maybe we'll start the day off with 2 hours of lead gen. Fucking 3 hours of lead gen in the morning. Yeah, I'm just making shit up. You got to do whatever's best for you. And how many days we going to do it? Well, we said we got to make it impossible to fail, right? So fucking daily. Boom. Now you see it's in there. Now you're going to do that for all your reoccurring tasks. The things you have to do over and over again. All the things you have to do over and over again. But here's the thing. This won't matter. This will be meaningless unless your whole life is in here. So this is my shit. Like I have my whole life in here. I have like sleep, shower, waking up, morning walk, workouts, when I'm going to eat. You know what I'm saying? Shit I'm going to do in the morning. You know, like I have time to FaceTime my son, you know, podcast, what I'm doing right now, prep for the podcast, you know, whether like, and this is like almost a month out. So like this white space gets filled up as we get closer. Like there won't be no white space when we get closer to it. But I live my whole life in there. Personal shit is in here, everything, right? Because you only have one life, right? They say business life, work life. No, it's one life. And you have to do all of it in it. So your calendar should reflect that. When I look at your calendar, I should see your whole life, right? Because that's what time is. Bruce Lee said, if you love life, don't waste time, because time is what life is made of. And if you're not using your calendar, you're probably wasting a significant amount of time. Like everybody who ever complains about not having time, I say, oh, let me see your calendar, man. Let's just try to find it. And they don't have shit in their calendar. I'm like, oh, of course you don't have time. You don't plan it. You're not planning your life. You're not planning your time. You're not taking it seriously. Every super successful person I know is serious about their calendar. I heard somebody talking about LeBron James. If you said he was the best basketball player of all time, I wouldn't argue with you. I think it's Jordan, but I understand what somebody would say LeBron, you know? And his fucking calendar is like, it's like mine, like Psycho, probably more so. Every super hyper successful person I know, if we're planning on doing something, they send us calendar invites. I was supposed to be doing something with the homie Sauce and them. They talking to me. It's like Sauce's assistant, and she asked me a question, what time would be good for me? And I'm like, cool. She sends me a fucking Google Calendar invite. Like, it's normal at this level. I'll tell you, it's normal at this level. My boy Jeremy, we were talking about going to, we were going to go to his double date, his girl, my girl, me, him. Boom, we was going to go to dinner. And we said, he was like, where do you want to go? Man, it was like, what time? Boom, boom. He sends me a calendar invite. I swear to God. Like, this is how it works at that level. Like, when you start dealing with multi-millionaires, everybody's got a calendar and everybody's using it. And if you're not doing it, listen, I don't know how you're going to succeed. I'm not saying you can't. I just don't know how you're going to do it, because I ain't seen people do it, right? So you want to live out, you want to put your whole life in your calendar. And what you're going to notice is, once your whole life is in your calendar, right? Remember, we're talking about all 4 quadrants, everything in your calendar. Because just because you're focused on money, that's your main goal. I'm not telling you to neglect your family. I'm not telling you to neglect your girlfriend, right? You got to have sex with somebody, right? And I'm not telling you to neglect your health. I'm telling you to plan it. Like, put that shit in the calendar. And these can be like defensive goals, right? Because if you do neglect your family, your girlfriend, and your health, that can fuck up your ability to accomplish the main goal. Because motherfuckers start tripping and shit starts going wrong, your health starts to fail, and then it'll be more difficult for you to accomplish the main goal. So a lot of the time, those other quadrants fall into the defensive support goals, right? And you got to plan it. You got to put that shit in your calendar, all of it. You're going to put all your one-time goals in Trello and your recurring goals. You're going to put all your one-time things in Trello, right? Because they're usually like big things you got to do once. But your recurring goals, your recurring tasks need to go in your Google Calendar. You have to live out of your calendar. I can't stress this enough. If you're not using your calendar, you are going to fail. If you're not living out of your calendar, if your entire life is not planned in your calendar, you are going to fail, right? And you don't have to be rigid about this too. Like, let's say something happens, something happens, right? I don't know, you got to move this around. You don't delete it though. You don't say fuck it, because you still got to do it. You just move it. Like, I'll do this shit all the time. I'll move shit around if I need to. And Google Calendar asks you this event, and I'll move shit around like a puzzle each day. I probably do that almost every day. It's okay. Like, I'm not rigid. I retain the ability to be flexible at all times, but I don't get rid of the shit. The shit is still there. And the same thing with Trello. The same thing with the one-time tasks. Like, if something happens and I can't do it today because life gets in the way, like, and I really tried, it happens, right? I just move it to tomorrow, but I don't forget about it because it's on the list. And then if I do this, then I have to go and I'll move it here. And because it's also in my Google Calendar, I just real quick, no problem, flip the app and then move it in here too, right? But this way I maintain a track to run on. I'm telling you, if you do not live out your calendar, you will fail. And the reason you have not accomplished the goals you set this year is because you didn't do this and you weren't living out of your calendar and you squandered your time. There are 168 hours in every week. You know what I'm saying? If you sleep 8 hours a night, that's 56 hours. So you should have 112 hours left. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the time. Then the next thing is dealing with the difficulties. Life is going to throw shit at you, man. So for one, whatever your goal is, it's going to be a lot more difficult than you think it is. When it gets super difficult and you want to quit, I need you to remember this. Remember this. Remember, King Keto Gymnasium Jesus said this to you. Said, this is the point where everyone else quit. If you keep going, you will beat them. You will accomplish it. It's gonna look like there's a failure. It's gonna look like you can't do it. But I promise you, if you just keep going past the point where most people will quit, that's where the magic happens. I'll give you an example of when I learned this. When I was first trying to learn how to do handstand push-ups. You see me now, I'm doing all types of handstand push-ups, clapping handstand push-ups, tiger bends, all types of shit, man. I'm nice. When I was first learning how to do it, it took me 6 months just to get the handstand. And this is 6 months of me practicing every day. It was in the calendar, practice it every day just to get the handstand. And I swear there was a point where I felt like, damn, I don't know if I'll ever get this. But I knew most people would quit, but I just didn't quit. I went, and then, right after that point, I mean, not right after, but soon after that, I was able to hold the handstand. But that's all I can do is hold it. Now I got to do a push-up. It took me another 6 months to be able to do 1 push-up. But even there came to a point where it really felt like, man, I don't think I can do this. And I wanted to quit. I thought about quitting. Man, I'm wasting my time with this shit. I promise you, that's where everybody thinks. That's why most people fucking suck. If you can keep going past that point, I'm not saying it'll happen instantly past that point, but listen, persistence is undefeated. If you keep going, you'll get there. Even if it's going slow, if you keep going to get there, there's going to be a point where you want to quit. I guarantee it. You have to keep going past that point. I promise you, right? Within reason. I don't want to say it's never okay. I don't want to say that it's never okay to quit. If you know what the end goal is and you realize that the amount of effort is not worth it, then yeah, quit, man. Fucking, like, you're going to do all this shit and then you know it's not going to be worth it, man, fuck that. But if you know that getting there would be worth it, you keep going. And then usually you got to, I can't tell you the difference. I can't tell you what the difference is, but there is a difference between stupidity and persistence, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't do it either. It's like, you can still do it. What I said initially still stands. You can only quit if you feel like what's required for you to get it wouldn't be worth it. You get what I'm saying? I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I know it exists. It'd be like if there was a girl you liked. I know this is the first thing that's coming to me. There's a girl you like and you could probably get her, but if you had to go through all types of hoops and she's like fucking, making you go through all types of hoops to spend time with her and all this stuff. Yeah, you could, but is it worth it? Probably not. Or you could probably allocate those resources somewhere else. Same thing with your goals. That's the best example I can think of off the top of my head. The next thing you got to deal with is emergencies. Yeah, there's going to be emergencies. If you got kids, I promise you, they're not going to have a perfect year. Something's going to happen. You're going to have to address either they're going to get bullied or they're going to be a bully or they're going to have these struggles or they may act up or they're going to have their own challenges that you got to help guide them through. Something's going to happen. Family members, they're going to, unless you think all your family members are going to have a perfect year, some of them might die. I hate to say it, right? But that's like real shit. People die every day, and, you're going to have to contend with that. You might have to stop grinding for a minute to go to funerals, to help with funerals, to console people, or they might get hurt, injured. All this shit is going to happen. You are not going to have, this year is not going to be unbroken boulevard of green lights just because you set a goal, right? All types of crazy shit is going to happen in your personal life and you're going to have to deal with it. You have to stay focused, right? This may sound cold, but just trust me, it's not. When my cousin died last year, yeah, I took the rest of the day off when I found out he died, right? Because I was crying and shit. And then, we drove immediately down to where he lived. And, we out there and, we had to deal with all that shit. And it was super traumatic for me. I mean, we grew up together. We got sent to military school together. We got kicked out of military school together. They let me back in, but he was older, so they just mailed him his diploma. We went to the same college. When we moved to New York at the same time. We were in New York. We were he was right across Central Park from me. You know what I'm saying? I used to go there all the time. And he moved to Miami, then I moved to Miami, then he dies. Car accident. It fucked me up, man. I ain't gonna lie. I still did this shit on my to-do list as much as I could, right? Some shit got moved over and I probably didn't do it as well, but I didn't stop. That's super important. Do not stop. If you need to slow down, if you need to, you gotta do not stop. I don't know if this is fucked up or not, but I was legit. I went to the gym that next morning, even though we flew down to West Palm. I mean, we drove down to West Palm where we was at. We stayed out there dealing, helping with the family. But yeah, I was in the gym that next morning. I might have fucking cried a little bit in the gym, but I was in the gym. I still worked. I went on Fresh and Fit. For real, man, I still worked. I'm telling you, still, I'm not telling you to neglect your family. I'm not telling you to be cold. And I'm not telling you not to mourn. Yo, you still got this fucking goal, man. But that emergency is not more important than this goal. Everything's important. Okay, maybe it is more important, but that doesn't mean the goal has to stop. There's going to be something. It's not going to be perfect. You got to stay focused. I'm telling you, man, fucking war is going to break out. Natural disasters, especially in Florida. We're guaranteed to have a hurricane or two. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit is going to go haywire because it happens every year, right? You can't let it knock you off your ground. You got to be like a rock. When there's a big fucking rock in the ocean or something, I don't know, like a lighthouse or something, don't matter how fucking bad the weather gets, that shit stays still. It's sturdy, it's solid. The waves may crash against it and it just absorbs it, it takes it. That's gotta be you, right? Another thing is the sacrifice. Like, to accomplish this shit on your goal, you are not gonna be able to fucking have as much goddamn recreation as maybe you're accustomed to. If you're trying to accomplish a big goal, it's probably gonna take a lot, you know? And I'm not telling you that you can't have recreation. I'm not telling you not to neglect your friends, family, girlfriends, none of that shit. I'm telling you to plan it. So if you're going to kick it with your friends, you set a time, you plan that shit. You know what I'm saying? You put it in your calendar if you can fit. But it needs to fit around the things you have to do to accomplish your goals. See, right now, what you've been doing, what most people do, is they try to fucking get around to the things they need to do to accomplish their goals. You put the things you need to do to accomplish your goals in the calendar, and everything else fits around that, right? So one of my goals was to build this YouTube page and to build my podcast, right? What did that mean? If we doing a podcast live at Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7, you know how many fucking Heat games I miss because of that shit? My boy Jeremy hit me up, said, yo, man, we got floor seats at the Heat game. Yo, come through, man. I got them for you free. I had to say no to do the podcast, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you give in to temptations now at the level you're at, what do you think is going to happen when you get successful, right? The shit that I say no to is way more tempting than the shit you say no to. Of that, I assure you. You're saying no to Call of Duty weed smoking sessions. I'm saying no to free floor seats at the Heat game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying no to the Super Bowl. Like, legit said no to the Super Bowl. If y'all was in my position, because you've been giving into temptation so long, if you were fucking me, fucking multi-millionaire, you wouldn't still be waking up at 4:30 going after the goals. You'd be going to sleep at 4:30 because you was at the fucking club all night. You got to start building that muscle now in order to resist temptation now. The temptations are going to be more intense and harder to resist the more successful you become. Right now, you passing up fucking 5s and 6s. 6s, man, that might be too much temptation for you, a 6. Who want to take you off your grind. Imagine, I just want you to imagine, you're a 6'2" multi-millionaire with 5% body fat in the middle of Miami with millions of followers. And if you can't say no to the 6, imagine if you do get successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, the temptation is different at this level. And I'm not just talking about the women, I'm talking about everything. Like, I get calls, man, come, we having this networking party and it's successful people that y'all know invite me places and I can't do it because I got fucking shit to do. Like, parties, events, I say no to them to focus on the goals, right? If you can't say no at this level, at the level you're at, then you're gonna be fucked if you fuck around and accidentally get successful. But the beauty of it is you won't have to worry about that if you can't say no to it at the level you're at, because you'll never get there. You'll never get to that upper echelon. And the last thing you're gonna have to worry about when you make the plans in your calendar and in Trello, you're probably not good at making plans yet. You're probably not good at estimating how long it takes to do things. Don't be afraid to move shit around and make adjustments. Don't be rigid with this shit. The beauty of Google Calendar is, I'm telling you, you can just move shit around. You know what I'm saying? You can move shit around. You can make the fucking, maybe, okay, this shit might take longer. This shit may not take that much. You can move shit around. I do it all the time. Whatever my plan is for the day, I know shit is going to get moved around before it's over. And that's okay. Don't let that discourage you. All right, it's okay to move things around. It's not okay to take it off your list. It's not okay to skip shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing. The shit that's in your calendar, do it. No matter what. If you can't get around to it at the time, move it to another time, another day, but you gotta do it if it's on the calendar, right? That's where the discipline comes from. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it in the face of tragedy. You gotta do it in the face of being sad. You got to do it in the middle of an emergency. You don't have to do it at that moment, but you got to do it. You got to do it if you're lazy. You got to do it if you're sick. Now, I don't get sick. I'm an invincible black guy, right? We're going on, I think it's 7 years of me not catching a cold, but I'm that nigga. You gonna get sick. So you got to still fucking grind until you get to that point. You know, it doesn't matter. In the face of temptation, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be fucking women. There's gonna be your friends. There's gonna be your family. The road to success is paved with a lot of tempting parking spots. You gotta ride past them. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. And if you can do all that, you can accomplish your goal. You can get rich if you can do all that. Every once in a while, somebody says, man, it's impossible for everyone to get rich just mathematically. Yeah, sure. But it's not something we have to worry about, because to get rich, you got to do all the shit I just said. And almost none of you will. Those of you who do, I'm excited to see you at the top. I'm sure you'll sit next to me one day in first class. You'll talk about how this video helped you get there. You know, I'm eagerly await your arrival at the winner's circle. But there's another video I want you to watch on tracking. Because tracking is super important too, tracking metrics. And if you can add that to this video, it'll really help you out a lot. So make sure you check that video out.